mind, you could not be fat and beautiful. I had to be slim.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a world where European beauty standards were highly prized. I can remember wanting straight blonde hair like a friend's, or even curly red hair like another of my classmates. I wanted to look like them. They were tall and slim or athletic and freckle faced. I was usually the only black kid in the bunch, and I looked nothing like them. First, my hair would never fully surrender to the pressing comb. That hot steel comb heated on a kitchen stove always brought with it burned earlobes and slightly scorched hair. It was thick and would start reverting to its natural state within hours of being pressed out slick and shiny with Blue Magic pressing oil. Later, when we used permanent relaxers with names like Dark and Lovely and Gentle Treatment to straighten our hair, the harsh ingredients would burn my scalp. My hair still would not stay straight for long. It was always trying to get back to its natural state. When Black Americans began embracing and celebrating their Blackness and afros and naturals came into fashion, my hair loved it. Afro Sheen hair products made it shine. My afro was always perfectly shaped and round. I was never without my steel pick with the raised black hand for a handle to keep it picked out and fresh. To this day, an afro is my best look.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. You came into your own. That you had to come into your own. You know, at some point, and stop fighting and fighting and fighting.
Yes, to
Something
be
else.
something I wasn't. Yes.
Yes, yes. And something else I remember from your chapter is that you talked about accepting your body as well.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's been a lifelong challenge because, I came here a big baby. I was almost 9 pounds. So, I came here big and my classmates were always smaller and, small, thin, athletic. And also I had asthma. And at the time, the what doctors told you with children with asthma was not to let them exercise. I never got to exercise. I didn't get to go to PE. I didn't get to run and rip and play. So that just contributed to it. So, yeah, my whole life I have fought being fat and desired to be slim
Mm-hmm.
and sought unrealistic goals for my body that, I'll never be slim. I don't have a slim body. So it took so long to realize that. And I talk about in the chapter how I had a Barbie doll and my first Barbie doll when I was 7 or 8. And that was my ideal. I thought, oh my God, I want to
Wow.
look like that. I
Yes,
want those little
yes,
bangs that curl down in the front, and I want
yes,
that ponytail that flips back and forth,
yes, yes, yes,
and that teeny tiny waist and those little arched feet that look so great in high heels. So it
yes.
was a totally unattainable goal. And when I got older, it just really made me sad that that was what I was aspiring to be until I actually realized that, how unrealistic that was and really began to accept myself. Sometimes it was very challenging because, like I said,
Mhm,
my dad was in the military. I was usually the only black kid wherever we lived.
mhm.
And it was hard, to find self worth. And when you don't have images of or anything that even resembles what you look like,
Exactly.
when you get teased, I got teased because of my hair, I got teased for being fat, I got teased for everything. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, it has been a long journey, but thank goodness, I have come to accept and celebrate who I am. So
Yes, yes, and the whole social media thing is a double edged sword because I love it because it connects us. But then again, I feel bad for the young women that are coming up
yeah,
today with all of those standards that they think that they need to follow that you see on social media.
they
And every
do.
chance I get, I try to break it down to but I don't
I
know.
know. And it's hard. Yeah. Because people, it's so easy because you're anonymous. You can be anonymous on social media and attack people. There's a young lady who I follow on, I think it's Instagram, and her handle is glitter and lasers. And she's quite obese, but she's lost a lot of weight. But when I go to her page and look at the comments, people are so cruel, just
They are
cruel.
brutal.
And I'm
They're
like, it's
brutal.
because you can hide behind your social media and be that way. You wouldn't have the
Right,
nerve to say these things to somebody in person.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. I don't know if you yeah, there was someone in the news recently who was just badgered, a celebrity. Julia Roberts. She was badgered, not in the news, but on social media. She was badgered because she posted a picture of she and her daughter at the dining room table, at the kitchen table, and she didn't have on any makeup. And people just went in, so negative. Oh my God,
Same thing. Same with Sarah Jessica Parker. I just yesterday was looking at, they had, and the post was pictures of her young and pictures of her
Yes.
today. And I think she's beautiful. She's aged beautifully, but I don't know what it is about our culture. We don't want to let people age. It's like
Right.
it's some
Well,
sin if you get older, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
men
Anyone else?
are allowed to age and women aren't.
Yes.
During
Yes.
the thing.
Men
But I
are
do
silver
think,
foxes and we're old women.
Right. Right.
I do think as much as it's changing because of high profile celebrities like Lizzo and Divine Joy Randolph just won the Oscar. I think
Yes.
it's changing, but still you've got the Kardashians who have created this whole thing. And I think so many young women think that is the ideal.
That is so true. That and I don't
Because
know
of
how.
their influence, they think they have to be like a Kardashian. And that is a manufactured reality.
Totally manufactured. Totally.
It's scary. My sister's a middle school teacher, and she often talks about that, with her students and just being around. Period, and you can see the influence on them. You can see the way that they're dressed or acting or whatever, and it's So I just pray that everybody finds their way before, and of course it takes us to help them in every chance we can get, and that's what I know all of us are doing. And before I go another step, thank you so much for that, Pat. Before I go another step, I just want to go around. I can see this is right there next to me. I don't know if it's next to me, but Lisa, raise your hand, Lisa Bedian. Lisa is one of our co-authors. And then we have Lynn Vinhouse as well. Hello, hi. And then we have Melinda. Melinda, hey. So they were all featured in some of the earlier episodes of this, and their chapters are just amazing. And we can talk about them a little bit more coming up. But we're going to go to our next co-author. Before I go, I want to go back to Pat for a second. Pat and I just met last year, but before that, we had never met. We worked together at a TV station a national show remotely. And so we had never worked. And so I reached out to her via Instagram one day. I'm like, hey, you want to do this? And she's like, yeah. And I said, yeah. And so when I went to, she's in Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta last year and I met her and a couple other people, and Cheryl. Cheryl's going to join us soon. And I never met Cheryl. We all worked at the same network. And so I met them in person. I just love that. So that's how I met Pat. Thank you so much, Pat.
Thank
Now,
you.
Maria and I go back, a long time, for 100 years or something. 100 years. We met.
We'll never tell. Let's just say it was the very start when we were just crawling out of the play yard.
Exactly. We met in New York City, and she happens to be in television, and so am I. And so, our paths crossed. And she was with me from the beginning of Ageless, Glamour Girls, and she's always been a big, huge cheerleader. And I so appreciate you and want to let you guys know that. So that's Maria's background. And Maria, let's see, Maria. I love it. I love your chapter. I love all the chapters. They're amazing. So Maria, do you mind if you can go ahead and read from your chapter? Give us a title of it and tell us how you came up with that title and why you're so moved to write what you write, and then of course read, because you write and then read from it. Thank you so much.
Okay. First off, thank you, ladies, for being also very inspiring to me. I think that because of how we are in this world right now, we don't appreciate the people that have helped us and what I like to call the original influencers. So before I start, I want to pay homage to one of my original influencers. Her name is Doris Fleming. She's my aunt. It's her 85th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And she was one of my original influencers because growing up, we didn't have all the great stuff, that we have now. And I used to go over to her house and help her out around the house. And she was going after her master's degree at the time. She was a
Mhm.
teacher, and I would go over and help her straighten up and whatnot. But I used to be in such awe of this woman. I would look at her and go, gosh, she's tall, statuesque, she's beautiful. I love the way she dresses. I love the way she talks. I'm like, I want to be like her one day. So I just want to say she's my original influencer.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I
so
totally
I
get
want to
it.
give her some flowers there
Yes.
because of her, I pursued a secondary education and went on to college. Because of her, I always had a standard of how I wanted to handle myself,
Preach now. Preach.
especially in talking to people. So yeah, each one teach one. So she
That's
was my
right.
mentor. She was my and I had to tell her this yesterday when I spoke to her, and I said, there are times where I'm just like, I can't find the words for you because I'm a fangirl. I'm fangirling over my own aunt. So so she thought it was very, very sweet. She was like, I was like, I know she was like, and I said, I don't want to sound like a blithering idiot. So with that, thank you, Aunt Doris. We love you. Happy birthday. And I'm going to move on to my chapter. My chapter is called Life Lessons and Observations of a Mother. Yeah, laugh at it because you could take it any way you like. But this is what life is. So, with that, I'm going to jump around in my chapter a little bit.
Okay.
And life throws you all kinds of curves when you're not ready. Think about that for a minute. We would be bored out of our minds if everything in our lives were pre planned, no drama, and everything just perfect.
Mm.
Well, buckle up, Buttercup, and enjoy the ride. There is no such thing as perfection. We strive to achieve perfection. And to paraphrase legendary singer Prince, dearly beloved, we are gathered here to celebrate this thing called life. My name is Maria Gonzalez, and this is a snapshot of my life. When I was around 10, my sister and I took our family's TV apart. Yes, apart. It was a Saturday morning and we were supposed to be doing chores. Instead, we were playing and I was acting out a scene in front of our television. After a few minutes, I had a bright idea. What would it look like if I was on TV? Armed with a screwdriver in my imagination, my partner in crime, my sister Lily, and I dismantled the television and created our own programming. Little did I know that this would be the start of a most fabulous journey. So I'm going to let you digest that one for a moment, because that tells you, yeah, this girl's like out there. Okay, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I embrace my quirkiness. Um, Now that you know a little bit about my backstory, when I sat down a few months ago to write this chapter, I had a lot of beautiful words and testaments about getting to the Middle Ages, which is where I am right now in my life. However, I concluded that I am nowhere near ready to slow down. As I see my friends and colleagues retiring, I'm just getting started with my second act. What did I learn since I became a conscious adult? A technique I call cliff jumping. It's how I challenged myself, whether it was a career decision or something as simple as figuring out how to buy an expensive pair of designer shoes when you're on a shoestring budget. The things that I learned in my life, pretty simple. You will laugh so hard that you will experience a release in your bladder. Think about that. You will sneeze so hard, you will have a release in your bladder.
That's
And if you get momentarily frightened or startled, guess what? Your bladder will release.
right.
So be prepared in every scenario of your life with a backup plan.
Mm.
So now, those that know me know that I have children. Yeah. Let's get into this one. I have two biological children, and I was blessed to help raise the third. I
Mm-hmm.
love them all. They all have three different personalities. The comic is the one that keeps you laughing until you cry. Also, there's the one that I call the attorney. He loves to debate every situation. And then, of course, the third is a Spitfire with a heart of gold. Now, the Spitfire is the one that I was blessed to help raise.
Mm-hmm.
So life can be challenging when you have all these, you're navigating all these personalities. and is, trying to give each one what they need as a parent. Baby phase, very easy. You love and you nurture. From toddler to adolescent, you give more love with nurturing, understanding, and setting those boundaries. Now, we are crossing into the border, into the dreaded phase of raising children from teens to young adults. And I know you ladies can identify. No book can help you. Each child is unique. What works with one doesn't work with the other. You may experience periods of elevated blood pressure, and your alcohol consumption may increase. You could go from an occasional social drinker to I need a drink daily. Around this age, your child is trying to explore just how far those boundaries you have laid down can be pushed. Your teen will get their driver's permit around this time, and most parents have gone gray or start to lose patches of hair. With the license comes freedom, a sense of freedom, and to escape from the watchful eye of parents and onto the most challenging of all, the young adult phase. When do you stop being a parent? Never. When do you stop caring and stressing? Never. When are you considered obsolete? Almost immediately after they turn 21. But you are called back into the role immediately after the first big life mistake. Yes, you are the fixer, especially if you are the mom, giver of advice, fixer of boo-boos, and a personal banker with a 24-hour ATM. And you ladies all know this. You might hate the person who broke your baby's heart for the first time, and then accept that person back into your life when they make up or get married to that person. It's a symbiotic, psychotic relationship that makes you wonder if it's worth it. Well, it is. It's a roller coaster ride called life with children. And I like to say raising children is like growing plants that talk back.
I love that. Love that.
So I'm not ready to settle back. I'm not ready. And, one of my friends once said, to live life right, you must look at each day through the eyes of a child, which I think is very important. A new day is another chance to play, see friends, ride your bike, eat a messy ice cream cone on a hot day, and, just basically enjoy things. Who has time to do this? We're all busy. But you know what? It's crucial to your well-being to look up, look around, and truly experience life. Taking time to nurture yourself is vital to your well-being and staying connected to your inner child. So I think that's probably where I'm going to end my thing is, other than saying, I'm not ready for the rocking chair, gray hair, or the traditional grandmother's house dress. I'll be in the dance studio doing the mambo, traveling the world, making new friends, writing, making films, doing voiceovers, video game characters, and living life. So don't wait for someone else to get a clue to present you with the happily ever after. I'm going to go make my own. I hope you make yours.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So much to unpack here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
it is.
so much to unpack here. But going back to what you said about dancing,
Yes.
you know what? And I did not say this in the beginning. Her bio. She's an accomplished TV and film content creator, producer, writer, voiceover artist. Her second act, part of she has like 3. And now published author. Yay! She loves to travel and experience other countries and cultures, and is also a fun-loving wife and a mother of humans and furries. But now she's also a competitive Latin ballroom dancer, and that's what
Yes.
she just mentioned. And you should see her out there. And it's like I love it because you just started ballroom dancing when?
I think it was about close to 15 years ago. Put it
Okay.
this way, my partner that I'm dancing with, he wasn't even, I couldn't even buy the man a drink when I started dancing with him.
Oh
He
my
was not
goodness.
legal. He wasn't even legal. Okay. And we laugh about this a lot. And Juan is like, great friend and teacher and colleague. And him and his wife, when I started dancing with him, he wasn't even engaged. He was just dating the young lady. And now they have 2 babies, one which was born about 2.5 weeks ago. So it's just been a lovely way for me to transition. And we have a lot of fun laughing and just carrying on. Since I started ballroom dancing, um, it came about like kind of a crazy little story. I actually blew out my cartilage ligament when I was in college fencing. And it was in a big tournament for the Olympics trials. And I blew out my knee, not to my, it was an accident. Um, and what happened was, okay, I got the surgery, and then years passed and life went on. And um, I accidentally fell down a flight of stairs, twisted my leg around.
Remember?
And when I went to the doctor, yeah, it was like crazy. I was, went to the doctor, and he was like, you have no knee left, sweetie. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm walking around in heels, boppity beepity beep, and he's like, you have no knee left, sweetheart. You need to get a knee replacement. And I was like, I had did all my research and going, I will wait until they can make me construct and, build my own with my own material. Right. Well, didn't happen at that point. So I wound up, and I was recuperating, and I saw this little tiny ad in our local newspaper, and it was talking about ballroom coming soon. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. I went back to the doctor, and I go, will I be able to dance? Because I was a big club baby. I'm sorry. Will I be able to wear heels? No, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, hell no. This is
No.
not my life.
Yes.
I'm like, oh no, I just can't. I just can't. And so I used that little ad, and I called up. They weren't even open yet. They were still building a facility. And I said, when can I come in? What are the requirements? At this point, I'm walking around on a walker. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, oh, yeah, we won't be open for another 3 months. Okay. I'll see you in 3 months. I found myself a little trainer, and, went beyond the normal constraints of the PT person.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I walked in there, I said, I am not walking with a cane. I am not walking with the walker. I'm doing this under my own steam. Walked in there, and my first session with the guy, I was like, and he's like, I'm going to turn you. Flip. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to spin out. I'm going to spin out. And within 3 months after that, I did my very first ballroom comp, and I came in first. I got the best
Wow.
newcomer.
That's
And
huge.
I was like, from there, I was like hooked. It had music. It had dresses with shiny objects hanging off of it. Yeah, I become a bling queen. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had that in me until my very first dress. And I was like, ooh, this is shiny. Ooh. And so I got hooked. So here we are. We're celebrating, I think this is 15 years now dancing.
Wow.
And I still have my my knee replacement. I call it my rollerball special. And I have, my dream is to make it to Blackpool. If anybody's out there that knows ballroom dancing, Blackpool is the most prestigious dance competition in the world for ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my goal, to get
Oh,
there and to
nice.
dance in the Latins. So we'll see. I mean, we've had a couple of challenges up and down
Mm-hmm.
with knee issue, and because of course when you fix one, the other starts going.
Because you put all that weight on the other.
Yeah,
Not that I
yeah,
know
you
anything
kind
about
of, yeah. But I got that one fixed right at the. I didn't do another knee replacement. God, for
that.
the love of God,
Uh-huh.
I found, um, they have more technology now than they
Right.
did a few years ago.
Right.
Because just in like 5 years, like the advances medically have been like amazing. So mine, I felt like a piece of laundry on the second knee. They
Mm,
took and extracted my own stem cells, spun them out in a little uh,
nice.
hydro, whatever that thing, and then put them back in there and grew me a new cartilage. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. So,
Right. And
yes.
and you know what?
Yeah.
Everybody who has a knee replacement, because I know there are a lot of people
Yeah.
out there who are scared to get the hip and knee replaced and stuff.
Uh,
But I remember somebody was going through physical therapy right now, and their doctor said that everybody he knows after they've had the knee surgery, knee replacement, wish they would have gotten it done much sooner. Just saying. They're like, they have a new lease on life. Oh, I can run after my
now,
grandkids now.
on the
Oh, I can go golfing
oh
now.
no, I
So
I
who's
am
on
all
the other
for
fence? just do your due diligence, because
do your due diligence, but I preferred my natural, let me
right, the
take
true
my
color,
own.
right,
Yeah, because it feels more natural. Like, one thing they didn't tell you, when they did the knee replacement, and I've heard lots of horror stories from other ladies that actually got them, and they're really heartbreaking. Um, but the thing
don't
is,
discourage anybody from having knee
no,
replacement.
I'm not
I'm just kidding. I'm
discouraging.
just kidding.
Do your due diligence,
Right.
because it's not for everybody. And
Oh, you mean
I
the
mean,
process that you had?
the process that I had. Now, the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
process, there are more other ways now. I mean,
Right,
like,
right.
find a reputable doctor,
Exactly.
stem cell. There's so many different layers of stem cell, but I found using my own stem cells worked the best for me. So that's the
Sweet.
process that I went for.
Oh,
So,
okay. I like
you
that.
know,
Yes, but here
so
again, everybody who I know personally says that too. Wish they would have done it like years ago, because it
but
does give a lot of people a new lease on life.
right, but the other key to it
Disclaimers.
is the other key to it is, even if you do get a replacement, hip, knee, whatever, movement, movement, movement. Do not stop your movement.
That
It's
is so
very
true.
important.
This is so
Whether
true.
it's dancing, walking. I wouldn't say running at this age because it still pounds our joints, but
A lot of people run at this age though, because you've
right,
been a runner all your life. You know what I'm
right. If
saying?
you've been a runner all your life, go
Or
for
in
it.
a
But
tip top shape. Yeah. So
right,
yeah. So I would love
right.
to run, but I can't.
But
Many reasons.
yoga, Pilates,
Oh,
movement.
Pat, as a matter of fact, she's so
Mhm.
inspirational. If you follow Pat, all you see every day almost is Zumba. Here I am. I love it. She's in Zoom. She takes Zumba classes. And she posts on her social media almost every day, and I love it.
Right. Right. And it's
That's off to
movement, and find the activity that you enjoy, so
you,
that it doesn't feel like work, whether it's bicycle riding,
right,
whatever. It's
right.
just all about movement and
Right. Or
finding your
chair
joy.
yoga, chair yoga,
Oh,
chair
chair yoga
arm
is the
movements, all of that.
chair
That's my
yoga,
right,
wall Pilates, wall
right.
yoga,
Wall
all of this
Pilates,
stuff
right,
is making such a big splash right now. But these
right.
are
And that's why I
things,
post a lot of that stuff in the Asia's Cafe, because
right,
you know, but you might not have the time to try to find something on YouTube or find
right.
someone. And I post stuff in the. Oh, I didn't mention Ageless Cafe earlier. I'm sorry. That's our private group. I call it the chat arm for Ageless Glamour Girls. That's
Mm-hmm.
private group. Come on over there, join us there, because we talk about weight loss, moving, keep it moving, Missy. Finances, getting your groove back, all of that, all of that.
Right.
But yes, you great points, Maria. We have to
Yeah.
keep moving,
Keep
and of
moving.
course, eating right. And as a matter of fact, Dion
Yeah.
here, Dion, wave Dion. Dion
Okay.
has a book out. It's called Feel Good Naked. Dion, is that it?
Look good naked.
Look Good Naked. Okay. And Dion is another one that has, she moves a lot. So you want to say anything about the movement, how important the movement is, Dion?
Maria nailed it. I teach Silver Sneakers, which is a fitness and wellness program for those that are 65 and over. And my oldest client is 96, and she still mows her own lawn. She still drives to class.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And it's all because of movement. So I love it. She inspires me every day. And Maria, your story is wow. I love that. I love your personality.
Okay.
Love
Can't
it.
wait to, you said black. What is it called? Black ball. Black. What is it again? The dance competition.
Oh, Blackpool.
Blackpool.
Man,
Blackpool in
I'm
England.
sending.
Yes.
I'm sending positive vibes. You're
Thank
going to
you.
be there.
Love
You're
to
going to
get
be
there.
there.
yes,
Love
yes.
to get there.
And she's worth a whole segment on the website by itself. All the stuff over the years I've seen you doing your thing, and I love it. And as I mentioned earlier, she's also doing voiceovers. So it's all about embracing where you are and trying new things, and giving yourself lots of grace, lots and lots of grace if stuff doesn't happen. But of course, as we know, the movement is one part of it. The other part is nutrition. And I see that
Yes.
Karen has joined us. Hey,
Hi,
Karen. I mentioned Karen earlier when we talked about the Valentine's Day special, because she's the one who had moved to a new town and didn't know anyone. And she's like, oh my God. And now she has the best tribe ever. You want to talk about that, or the nutrition side, or both, Karen?
What I want to say is that, just like the chapter I wrote in our book.
And what's the name of your chapter? Oh, I'll get it.
Name is
I love
Every
the
time
chapter.
you ask me about it, the antidote to aging is belonging.
I love that. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So how that came about is because you don't know that until you start belonging. And that's the whole fertile void there, because we don't know. We can be a great friend, even though we want friends and we want to be a friend. But until you find your tribe or the people who make you feel like you can be yourself,
Your
then
people. Mhm.
your peeps, whatever. But I've met a lot of people in my town. I've met a lot of people, but I never felt comfortable, and I never felt like they were friends. We never shared the same kind of thinking. And I think that it's not just what, one of the things that I am really passionate about is food and cooking and nutrition and talking about it. And, it is important, but I sort of got to the point where I sort of fatigued everybody. I was shaking my finger at everybody saying, I don't know about gluten, and I don't know about sugar, and I don't know about drinking, and da 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 da, and trying to tell everybody what to do and what to remove. And you know what? That's not really being a friend either.
That's so true.
You
Right.
may have things to say, but it doesn't mean everybody wants to listen to it.
Right.
So,
so true. So true. Right.
So what I ended up doing, as I spoke about in the chapter, which was to find a social group of people my own age.
Mhm.
So some of the conversations are going to be about, okay, here we are in our late 60s, whatever you are, and what's starting to happen. Things are changing, and this is a new phase, and it's a new part of life. So what are we doing to preserve ourselves and stop the loss process? Because I will tell you, the older you get, there's lots of losses, not only in people, but I'm going to talk about the fact that I had a tooth pulled yesterday.
You had a what? I'm sorry.
A tooth pulled. I had my wisdom tooth pulled yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I fought so hard to keep it, and I said, "Please fix it." She said, "Honey, I got to tell you something. I'm not working on it
here.
We're losing it." Okay, so things start to come out of you. It's like you don't need it, whatever. My whole point is that, and oddly enough, the whole time she was taking my tooth out, she was talking about Botox and filler, which is so funny.
Girl. Yeah, I'm saving up for some Botox. I'm just kidding. That's like, this is why I stay the size I am, because if I lose weight, then,
Yeah.
I'm going to need some Botox.
Yeah. So just remember, part of my Chinese practice is yin and yang balance. To everything, there is a reaction. Every cause, there is an effect. Remember that, because I will tell you from my experiences, great when you're young, filler and Botox is terrific, but when you get older, it starts to not look so great. And I've had pretty bad experiences recently, actually. Did you know that Botox can make your eyes under your eyes bulge? Well, it can. Okay.
But I do know that some doctors are beginning to use it for incontinence. Botox, in your yin yang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Well, it slows the muscle,
Okay.
Anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is that belonging is the only way to have a full life. It really is. It's what keeps you going. It's somebody to not only have somebody to call up and talk to about stuff, not your job, not your expertise, not anything other than recording your life, paying attention to your life. Somebody asking you, what's going on? How do you feel today? I can't say anything more that is more inspiring than having friends who you really can talk to.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, so true.
More
And
important.
yes. And those of us who are in relationships, it's like you love your mate. And then I see people always say, "Oh, I married my best friend." I'm like, my mother was my best friend. And now my sister. It's like, I love my husband, but yes, find your people, right? Find your people.
But he's a man. I'm sorry, but he's a man. Different.
Right.
But in the movie, they say number one is community. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, and I'll stop here, but in China, like 100 years ago, they used to, when a baby was born, they would get a best friend, and they would live with that best friend for life. And one of the so you would always have a friend. In fact, Lisa C's book, you know, I think it's in The Secret Fan, Snow something in The Secret Fan. She talks about having a best friend and how their lives recorded each other's lives, and they met up periodically, and like sisters, like sisters.
I love that.
Oh, it's a wonderful book. I loved it. And anyway, in the Blue Zones, one of the key factors in living past 100 is to have community.
Community.
How many people do not have purpose in their life?
Exactly. And that's why, Karen, I'm always telling people, if you know women older than you or your same age and they have no family, please check up on them, call them, take them some dinners. We have to stay connected. So important. So, Karen, I'm so glad you found your tribe. I love it. And you're thriving and living your best ageless life. I love it.
That's a recipe for life. That's my nutrition. Have friends.
I love that. Let's see. We haven't heard from Lynn and Melinda. Who wants to go?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to butt in at all. But what I love about this group is that you are all living in the present. Mm-hmm. You are not living in the past, because I have retired friends who talk in the past. They don't talk in the present. And I thought, as I'm aging, because I'm 69, I don't want to talk like I'm in the past. I want to still be doing things. And I'm still working, and people are like, oh, you're still at it. And I'm like, well, I'm very grateful to be at it. Because, it's a choice, right? But also, I think a lot of us want to be active, and you want to exercise your mind and your body and your spirit. Mm-hmm. But that's what I love about this group, is because you're all unafraid to take a risk, to take a new chance. Mm-hmm. And I think if we can inspire people to do that, mm-hmm. that is just a gift. It's a wonderful thing.
So true. No, I love that. Thank you so much. And someone mentioned earlier, it just takes one person. But yeah, I love to think of this as a community where we do those things, and we're about to add a lot more layers to it, everyone. So, and these women, oh my God, these women, it's nothing but God in the universe put me in touch with these women, because some of them I've never met. I still have not met Dion, who is one of my Insta friends, and a couple other people who are not here were my Insta friends, and we haven't met. Syriaca is one of them. And what a blessing, because Dion and I follow each other on Instagram and, support each other. And so when the book came along, I'm like, let me reach out to Dion and see if she wants to humor me. And I am so thankful that you did, Dion. So thankful that you did. And let me tell you guys, when I tell you these chapters are phenomenal, because you can see from what they're saying and their personalities, oh my God. And one of the questions I was going to ask everybody is, where do you find your joy? But then I see that Melinda's here. Melinda's chapter is all about finding one's joy. Right, Melinda? You want to talk about that? Your chapter?
Yes. The first thing I wanted to say is that I'm very thankful to you and to every single one of these Ageless Glamour girls. Oh. I am so inspired by each and every one of you. Honestly, I can't wait to meet every one of you and just get to know you better. The stories, and they're all different. Mm-hmm. And they're just amazing. And we talk about a gift to other people out there. Every story here is a gift that people should at least hear about. Really. Now, as for finding joy, my chapter was called Finding Joy. It was really in retirement. That part got edited out, but it's still Finding Joy. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, I'm in the throes now of having a very sick kitty. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of crying. And I say to myself, but I'm all about joy. My cat is like, I wasn't able to have children. So my nieces, nephews, and my little cat has been really a comfort to me for a
Mhm,
long time.
mhm,
And I'm sure those of you who have pets and love pets understand that. And
mhm,
I'm not like anybody else. A lot of people have to let their animals go, and I'm struggling with it. But I found myself saying, but I'm all about joy. Where is my joy? I have to find my joy. There has to be joy in this.
mhm,
Even though there's grief,
mhm,
there can still be joy.
mhm,
And that's what I'm going through now. It's going to be, I've already started journaling. I've already started writing my thoughts about this.
mhm,
But I'm trying not to look at the glass half empty or
mhm,
empty at this point. I'm
mhm,
really trying hard to look at the beauty of the relationship that I've had with the cat. And then I think about finding joy in grief, finding joy in the times that are difficult for people.
mhm,
We have to try to look for the joy through all that, because life will have, as someone said today, it's a roller coaster. We have our ups, we have our downs. Not every day is going to be just, filled with elation.
mhm,
We have to take some of those blows as part of life.
mhm.
But through that, I do have to tell you, it's a struggle. I it's a struggle to be joy filled, though there is joy, if that makes any sense.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's good for my writing. It's good for me to grow, and I think it will be a good thing to share for other people,
Mm,
to let them know that it's just part of life, and that
mhm,
if you can just get yourself through whatever pain you're feeling, you don't have to sit in pain. These
mhm,
are choices.
mhm,
And so
mhm.
that's what I'm going through now.
Oh, and what a cute kitty. I love your kitty cat. Thank you so
Oh,
much
oh
for
my
sharing
God.
that.
And she sits right with me, and she knows. I mean, she knows. She
She
knows.
knows. Oh my gosh.
And the beautiful part of it is that I'm able to journal,
Mhm.
and when I write, I just write. I don't plan. It just kind of comes out.
Right. I gotta
And I
start
just write
that.
and write and write and write and write. And then when I
Yeah.
end, it's usually a prayer or a psalm at the end
Oh,
of
okay.
my writing. A lot
Oh,
of my deepest writing is like that.
yeah.
Very
I like
spiritual. So
and you mentioned grief as well. As you may know, I mean, the whole thing about grief is more than just losing a loved one, right? I mean, those are horrific. Don't get me wrong, and the animals, but you can also grieve your past life. Like you can grieve not being able to just jump up those stairs and squat down and pick something up off the floor. You can
no, I,
grieve
I've
that,
I've noticed, if I could just interject for a minute, I work in that beautiful consignment shop,
That's where we
and I
met. Yes,
see,
and
right,
yes.
and that's where we met, and I see high heels pouring into that place, and what I say is, these women can't wear these shoes anymore. We have to let that go, and I can't tell you how many women
Mhm.
come into that place and they say, "Oh, I have all these shoes and I used to be able to wear them." I said, "Yeah, but you could wear other shoes now that are just as beautiful. They're just a little bit of a different style. Living in the moment, still enjoying where
Right,
you are, but
right.
acknowledging the fact that no, those stilettos or those really
Not,
3-inch heels we're not wearing,
well, not everybody. There are a lot of ageless glamour girls still rocking those 3 and 4 inch heels, and I'm like, I admire you. But getting back to the
I
consignment shop,
think
I
I
have
think
bought. Huh? I'm sorry. What you say?
I was going to say, I think the same thing about clothing. All these small sizes come in, and I know these women are gaining weight.
Oh my God. Now, you guys do have
Like,
some fancy, fancy, fancy high heels. Now, I have bought a couple pair, that you just keep on for a little bit. You just, you know what I'm
Those
saying?
are entrance shoes. They
What you
are
say?
in, you wear them, you get all dressed up,
Mhm.
and you put on those shoes, and you walk in and you make a fabulous entrance.
Uh-huh.
And then you find the nearest chair and you pull out the comfy shoes and
Right,
put
right. No,
those
no,
on.
I'm talking about home. I'll wear them, and I'll
Yeah.
do like if I want to feel sexier while doing a
Hmm.
podcast, I'll put on some high heels in a minute, and just every once in a while I look glance down. I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing high heels. Yeah, if only
and
for
you're
a minute.
sitting down and they don't hurt.
Yes,
There
yes,
you go.
yes. I miss those days. Let's see. Do we hear from Lynn? So I just told you, Melinda and I met at Naples. We have about 6 minutes left. Lynn and I, Lynn's from Illinois. I'm from Illinois. We met for the love of journalism. I was at a newspaper, and she was at a newspaper, and we got an award together for Chamber of Commerce, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so, Lynn, introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your chapter.
Well, hi, I'm Lynn. I have been a professional journalist for 46 years. So I'm going to hit that 50 mark, I hope, eventually, and in a profession that we always say we're dinosaurs, but it's still vital that we exist. And so I love it. I love meeting people and talking to people and sharing their stories, and it gives me great joy. And speaking of, as your family shrinks, because we're at an age where your family starts shrinking and you have to develop new traditions, like, after your parents pass, after certain, like Christmas isn't the same anymore when you reach a certain age. And, I used to always do the Thanksgiving, and it would be everybody's family. It would be these huge things. And now I don't. And so you have to learn how to adapt to your family dynamics changing. And that's been really hard for me to get used to, because in my chapter, I wrote about grief, because within 5 years, my son died, my brother died, and my father figure, uncle, died. And so how do you do that? And it's just a daily process. You just find things. But I also say, like, grief is before and after. And people will always say to me, I don't know how you do it. How do you keep going? Well, there's this album. I know this sounds really crazy, but Courtney Love was married to Kurt Cobain, and he killed himself. And she came out with this album called Live Through This. And I say that in my head every day, live through this, because you got to get up, you got to get going, because you could stay in bed all the time and feel sorry for yourself and have a big pity party, but you're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping anybody else. And you would be surprised how many people are in your same boat, especially at our age. Right. And it's just one of those things. So community, we're all stressing community. That is a huge thing, to find people. I have this girl group, and it's mostly journalists or work farmer journalists. And we've been meeting once a month for 20 years. We just had our 20th anniversary, once a month. And then people invite other people to get in this group. It's dinner. And so the other day we just had 2 new people, 2 neighbors of the girl. I call them the girls. And they are going through divorces, and they're going through really tough times. And they were like, oh my God, you guys are so welcoming. You're so, you're just so welcoming. And they said, you've been through things. Women who have been through things, because every single woman in this what is it? Our grid has been through, has been through things.
Right.
Like,
it's so true.
And so I think that when you admit that, like, that's what I love about your chapter, Maria, is you were just saying, get over not being perfect, Oh
my God.
You reach these things, like when I was 33, and like what Pat was saying, when I was 33, I thought, why isn't my life more settled? Why isn't my life more settled? Why is this, you have this picture in your head, like when you turn 21, when you turn 30, and then now it's like, I don't feel like I need to slow down. I feel like I am getting started.
That's right, girl. We are. That's the beauty of it. And I see Lisa up there clapping, because she wrote her chapters on second acts and reusing stuff in your toolbox. It's like, right, Lisa? It's like, oh my gosh.
Right. Absolutely. And right now I'm actually teaching a class at Lindenwood University, and I've got these students who actually are coming to class, which is a big deal. But we talk about things, and I relate stories from my career and whatever. And one young man said, well, you should write a book. I go, well, actually, but when you talk about that, and you look at all the things that you've heard just today from everybody. It's like, oh gosh, I love what you're saying, Lynn, about let's talk about the future.
Right.
Let's not even talk about today. Let's talk about the future. And maybe if you're looking at, I know the holidays are a long time from now, but maybe if you're looking at, just think about those people that you meet along the way over the next few months. And if you do have a holiday gathering, or maybe you create a holiday gathering just for this kind of fellowship and this community that Karen talks about building, and how much fun you can have at that and planning that, instead of feeling awkward and, well, and maybe that's the opportunity that you don't have to make mom's recipe for green bean casserole because nobody likes it anyway. So why are you making it? Or, try something new, or instead of having a new tradition, maybe you have all different, I'm Armenian, we make more Middle Eastern food. Maybe we make more of that at Christmas or Thanksgiving instead of the traditional, American stuff that you feel like you have to do.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, being Armenian, I want to apologize for the Kardashians. Just saying. We are all obviously not like them. Just saying.
At least this was the first Armenian I met, and then I figured out the IAN thing on the end. I'm like, okay, I get it. So so she's really big. Oh my God,
you're welcome.
And when you talked about the dishes, I remember growing up, and like a lot of mothers, my mother, Christmas dinner was huge, and we would be up until like 3 o'clock in the morning cooking the cakes, and she would have cooked already 7 in advance, of course, but she had to do some more stuff. And then my sister and I would be so tired. And then what happens at 6 o'clock? The alarm goes off, right? Oh, you have to make sure that the rolls are rising. And so, and so I remember my sister saying years ago, she says, when I get married and have a family and for holidays, we're going to have some sandwiches. And she has adapted. She loves to cook, but she has adapted, and, to whatever, but she'll buy some ready-made stuff. And some people are like, don't you dare buy, ready-made something for Thanksgiving, Fresh Market or Whole Foods or whatever. I'm like, are you crazy? That's the world we live in now. So you keep adjusting, you hold on to the past that you love, and those great memories of that, being around in the kitchen. But it's like, do we really need 7 different kinds of meat on the holidays?
I can attest to that.
Right. 8 different kinds of pies and cakes and cookies. Oh my God.
I mean, you love doing it, but as you get older, it becomes, more of a challenge because people's dietary restrictions change and whatnot. So you have to adapt.
Yes.
And I think one of the things I want to point out is, as women, we have the toughest jobs because we are putting and we set the tone and the pace for everybody. Whether it's through running the household, raising the kids, the whole spectrum. So, we're indestructible, and we are adaptable, highly adaptable.
Right.
And just because they say, oh, well, now you're a certain age, you need to retire. We don't retire. We're the only job in the world, being a wife, a mother, a woman. We're the only, I guess, section of the population that does not retire.
That's so
we
true.
Can't.
True.
We can't. We're innovative. We're always on the move. So that's why it's important for us to keep ourselves in our community, amongst ourselves, and our the women that think are like-minded like ourselves, and to keep ourselves moving along, because we can get stuck. We can get stuck.
I think it's really important to share stories, because what you're going through, somebody else is going through, and you
That's right.
You wouldn't know it. Like I mentioned Lisa C's book, but I also want to mention The Red Tent, because that was Anita Diamond, one of the best books I ever read about the Red Tent.
What's it called again, Karen?
It's called The Red Tent. It was Anita Diamond, and it was one of the best books I've ever written, also because it was also about women community. We run the world. You know that, right?
That's
you know
so true. Yes, indeed.
We just don't blab it out to everybody, but it would not. This humanity would not exist without women.
Amen, sister.
Get it done.
And I'm looking at the clock. We were supposed to be over at 2, but But when this is how we roll, people, when we get together. It's like just the audience, we can't stop talking. And so some of us are in television news, and you have that heart out. We don't have that heart out, so we can just keep talking if we want. We want. Thank you, Karen. That's a great book. I'm gonna check out that book. As a matter of fact, if you guys don't mind, think about this. I want to know what book has influenced you the most in your life, and also I want to say I'm looking at the comments here.
Oh wow!
Jasmine Bishop wrote "Missing the Family Cooking." Oh, I love that. And she also had a question earlier: who had the most influence on you? And that would be my grandmother and mother for me. And my mother, what Maria said earlier, I think I have it. Yeah, as I say in my book, she was my first influencer. My first influencer. Oh my God! I didn't worship her, but I just lived everything. She helped shape my life. And later on, my younger sister would tell me that mom lived her life vicariously through mine. I'm like, and so so she was my biggest influence. Of course, her mother too, but my mother, of course, my biggest influence and the inspiration behind Ageless, Glamour Girls, and that's some of the stuff my chapter is about. So, anyone else? I know Maria, you mentioned it earlier. Who had the most influence on you? Anyone else want to contribute to that?
I think that might be good for a whole show in the future.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
just a
everybody, it's Cheryl. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Hi,
hey,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Cheryl and I also worked together at a TV station, a national show. And I met that when I mentioned Cheryl early today, when I went to Atlanta last year, I met Cheryl for the first time, as well as Pat. So that's Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, everybody. I was just thinking about your question about who influenced me the most, and I never really thought of that, but I think I might have to say my father, because I got watching the news from him. He was always politically involved, like what are these politicians doing now?
Right.
And then he also had a lot of different jobs, so he was very creative in trying to find ways to make money. He had his regular job, and then he had a lot of side jobs and just getting involved. But then one thing that he said that always stuck with me, and I heard, I think Bonnie Willis, the district attorney of Fulton County, said something similar. My dad always said, you need to get your education and get a job, because you don't depend on any man.
Exactly.
Take care of you.
Right.
And I took that to heart, because whatever I had to do, I made sure that I got my degree and that I was able to work in my field, journalism, for 40 odd years now. But I guess I would have to say my dad. I love my mom, but my dad always, I guess these words of wisdom.
Right. Yes. I love that. That was instilled in us. Look, I have tears in my eyes. Growing up too by my mother. It's like never ever depend on a man. And for your livelihood or whatever.
Exactly.
And
you have to have your own. You have to have your own. You can
make your own, right?
But you make your own.
Right? Make
My
sure your
mom was
money stash is a good stash.
Oh yeah. Well, my mother was an OG, I will say, because when I was 7, we left my dad. My dad was a very charismatic guy, kind of looked like Don Draper in Mad Men, but he was an abusive alcoholic. And so my mom had 6 kids in 8 years. I was 7. My youngest, one before me, died a couple days after birth. So, but my youngest sister was 6 weeks old. One night we left, and my mom said she had a nickel in her wallet, nickel in her pocket. And my grandparents had come by, and they said, "You're coming home with us." And had we not, I don't know what would have happened. But my grandfather told my mom, "You don't have to work for a year," because Mary Claire was 6 weeks old. So when Mary is a year, you can find a job. Well, nobody wanted to hire her because this is 1963.
Yeah.
This is 1963, a woman with 5 kids, single mom, and nobody wanted to hire her, but she did. And she worked. My mother worked so hard. That work ethic that my mother had was incredible. When I was a freshman in high school, she got hired at Anheuser-Busch. and she worked there for 25 years, and she loved every single, I mean, not every minute, but I mean,
Well, of course, yeah,
she just loved it. And at that time was very good to her. But my mother, one of the things about my mom, she did not complain. She might have complained to somebody else, but she never let us kids know. And because we were the only kids in grade school, because I went to Catholic school, that had divorced parents at the time. And so we were looked upon as, you know, freaky weirdos, you know, like white trashy type people, like, oh, you guys are poor, and, you know, that kind of thing. So, but my mom was always this welcoming, comforting person. And I mean, just what she went through by herself, I just can't even imagine what she went through. But when after she died, she did smoke like a chimney, and she died of lung cancer at age 70. But at her funeral, somebody said to me, she always made you feel better. When you were in a room with her, she made you feel better. And I thought, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard about my mom. She always made you feel better. And everybody talked about how it was pleasant to be around her. She just didn't complain. She just had this, because everybody always asked, like, well, how? And I said, well, my mom was like the eternal optimist. She had so much adversity in her life, but she never let it define her. She, and her life was her kids, you know, and she went to everybody's games. She went to all my plays, you know, she just was that. But for somebody to go through what she had at the age she went through, I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of every woman who was told no, you can't do this, whatever, and they did it anyway. And look at him. And you know, she's not famous. She's not you know, getting a biopic written about her or anything. But she was one of those women that you look up to, because we stand on the shoulders of giants. When you tell young women what other women went through in the past, they're in awe, because they don't realize how things were in a workplace. Look it up. There's this great documentary. Look it up. I think it's on HBO. I think it's on Netflix. It's called 9 to 5, and it's the inspiration behind the movie. And it's about the real working women in the 70s who got things going, who got those sexual harassment laws passed, who did the equal pay, huge. I mean, even though we know, you know, but what I'm just saying is, there are so many women. There's a lot of documentaries about women who've accomplished a lot, but there's a new Netflix movie on Shirley Chisholm. It's good.
Oh yeah, I did hear about
to be
that
inspired.
one.
And I just saw the Cher show. It's a Broadway musical, and Cher is 80.
I love her. Does anyone know her to get her on the podcast? Oh, sorry.
I know. She has a remarkable story, because she had to remake herself. She had to you know, because men ruled her life for so long.
Wow.
And took advantage, like
Cher
contract.
was Armenian.
Cher was Armenian. There you go.
Her name is Sherilyn.
I did not know that. I love these fun facts.
Her maiden name is Sarkeesian. IAN. There you go.
That's right. And so it was so fun, because it was a lot of people, and she's 80, and she's still, so, you know, there's so many people that are inspiring, and you all are inspiring, but I wanted to share my mom's story, because it's just, you know, and when she died, one of the memorials was, we said the Violence Prevention Center, and somebody said to me, oh, that's really brave of you to put that out there, because, you know, your mom. I go, first of all, it shows other women that it's not, you know, it can happen to anybody, any walk of life, any economic, you know, and I've actually done a lot of, you know, articles about help, you know, domestic abuse and stuff like that. But also I just was like, why wouldn't you say that? Because when my mom in 1962 was trying to leave my dad, there was no such thing as Violence Prevention Center.
Right. Back then. Right. Thank God there's so many items in place now today to help, as much as it can. But yeah, it still happens.
She wouldn't have even been able to get a bank account on her own at that time.
Right.
No.
People don't realize.
Don't realize it.
Oh, I know.
think I read something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. But
No,
I was
no,
just
no.
going to say,
Go ahead.
she taught me how to, she always believed that you could do anything you wanted to. Like, you want to go to college? I'm the first person to graduate from college from my family.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted Maria. What were you
No,
going to say?
what I was saying was that I read something recently that said up until like 1979, 1980, women were not even allowed to have their own credit cards, buy a mortgage. So it's not that long ago, ladies, that women didn't have rights. We were chattel. We were just like, we couldn't exist without a man.
Exactly.
You needed a man to help you a mortgage. You needed a man to put you on a credit card. And, unfortunately, the way things are going, they're trying to push us back in the closet, but we ain't going there, baby. We're not going back to the kitchen.
Yeah.
We're building the kitchens. We're building our own houses. We're going forth, and we want to keep our younger women behind us strong enough to understand we're not going back.
That's right. Hashtag ageless glamour girl rising. Sorry, I had to throw it in. I love it. I want to get back to something, and we have to wrap this with something that Lynn said about, the unsung heroes, like your mothers and others. For Women's History Month, I kept thinking to myself, dang, I want to feature my auntie. Can I feature my mother? I just ran out of time, but my mother used to have a saying, give me mine while I'm living, so I can thank you for the giving. And I say that because I would love to just highlight on a weekly basis those unsung heroes that kick booty. They're not celebrities, they don't have a name. People don't know them, but in their communities or in your own lives, those women. And we just have to figure out a way to give them a shout out while they're still living, because that's going to help propel them and help fuel them, and to keep moving forward. Let's see. My mom inspired me to be a writer. She complains a lot, but taught me not to settle. Love you, mommy. Oh, thank you for that, Musashi. I love your name, Musashi. That's from the comments. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm the mother she's talking about. That was
my God. Oh my God. That's funny. I love it. I love it.
I complain a lot because that's what my mother did. So we're carrying that tradition on. But thank you, Courtney.
Wait a minute. My mother complained a lot too. She fussed a lot. And like I tell my husband, I'm like, I got it honestly. I'm like, now she also said, just keep on living when I was younger. Now that you get it, it's like, yeah, I'm complaining. And then sometimes as my mother's aunt, living oldest aunt says, I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for that, cousin Nevada.
It wasn't fussing.
Oh, I love that. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. Okay,
yes,
I'm going to
cousin Nevada. Yes.
It's not fussing. It's nurturing. It's giving you a path in which to go.
Right. Words matter. You see that? You say it in a different way. It's a totally different meaning. Yeah. Words matter. Thank you.
Words matter. So anyone else have anything to contribute? And I always hate to go. I hate that, but I know it's Saturday, and it's Saturday. Even though when you're retired, you still have stuff. It's Saturday, and Saturday will always be Saturday, as far as I'm concerned. I still look forward to Friday. I'm not retired, but I'm saying, you still look forward to Friday and Saturday and Sunday. It's the weekend. Anyone else have anything else to add? Dion, we haven't heard from you much. And Dion, your thoughts on life in general, or Dion, what have you to say?
Well, as always, this is so empowering and inspirational. I guess I'm the youngin' of the bunch, but
yeah, like I said earlier, you go from 50s to 80s. So yes, I was trying to figure out who the youngin' was. Okay, go ahead.
You all definitely inspire me, and I really now after today, I just had so many profound little aha moments. I mean, Lisa and Lynn and Melinda, Maria, I've learned so much today, and I can't wait to meet you all. Seriously, we keep saying we're going to do this. I don't care if it's New York, if it's Florida, I don't care. Atlanta, somewhere. The energy that we have, this is a movement.
Yeah.
I mean, just this alone today, like you said, can change so many lives. There are so many people who don't have community. We are a virtual community. And like you said, we're just getting started. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yes, yes. And if anyone, I love that. Thank you so much, Deanna. I love that. And if you or anyone else want to step up and start organizing something, let me know. I'm with you, Deanna. Florida, New York, Atlanta, anywhere. You know, I'm game. I am so game because, as I said earlier, I haven't met everyone in person, and I would love to. Ageless Glamour Girls Weekend. Woo. From Thursday
a retreat. Let's have a retreat.
A retreat.
Retreat. Okay. Some of just whoever wants to organize that, let me know.
I was just thinking about that, a retreat. Oh wow, what a great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
All right, well we'll get the ball rolling. I'll put something in the chat.
Okay. And
There's
again,
something called
Let's go to a city that's not too expensive hotel wise. That would be awesome. I'm willing to come to St. Louis. I've never been, and I'd love to see the Great Arch.
Oh, that's right.
Well, maybe we can put our heads together here in St. Louis and think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, think about that.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
for sure. That's where Lisa and I met at the TV station in St. Louis. St. Louis. So I just want to again to our viewers. I'm so blessed. I'm eternally grateful that the publisher, Germaine of HOV Publishing, saw it in her heart. She reached out to me and said, "I heard about your brand. Your brand would make for a great anthology." She says more than one because there are women all over. You know, they're women, and so I freaked out at first, and I'm like, okay, who can I ask? And so some of the women here I knew, and so I reached out to them. There are a lot of women who didn't come on the journey, and that's fine because we're all in a different place at a different time. But, whew, and as I said earlier, some of these ladies were just Insta friends, and so I would drop into their DMs and like, hey, you want to do this? And like Karen, for example, we haven't seen each other in like 35 years or whatever. But all of a sudden, she popped up on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Karen. And she and I used to work together at a TV network in New York, and so I reached out to her, and it's just been blessing upon blessing upon blessing. And I always say that God and the universe conspire, help bring your dreams out there. And it takes a village. And I'm just so thankful that these 12 women are part of my village and are helping me. And they're seeing my vision. And I so appreciate that because, it takes a village. It really, really takes a village. And I love them. And just from hearing them today, you guys know you have to order the book. You have to order the book. Because it's so good. It really is. And here again, it's so relatable. Here are the co-authors on the back of the book. Yes, as I said, Sandy would have been with us, but she's under the weather. And then Aaliyah had technical issues. I feel terrible about that. She couldn't get in. But Ageless Glamour Girls, we're available on Amazon. And, you can order it on, go to Barnes & Noble and order it in other places too. And we're working to do a second volume. So if anyone's interested, email us at info@agelessglamourgirls.com. I have to go in for that, right? Again, this is the Ageless Glamour Girls brand that celebrates women 50 plus, and helps us help them navigate this wonderful, fascinating, challenging, ageless aging journey filled with ups and downs. And we have an Instagram page. We have a Facebook page. The private group is called the Ageless Cafe. Please come over and visit us there. Not visit us, but join us there. We're on TikTok. We have a podcast that comes out twice a month. And typically after I have these meetings like this, I will bring on the featured co-authors on the show for that podcast. And if you have an idea for a podcast, if there's someone special that you want to see on the podcast, or if you yourself want to come on the show, please drop us a line at info@agelessglamourgirls.com, info@agelessglamourgirls.com. We cover everything except politics. No politics allowed. But otherwise, tell us about your aging journey. And once a month, I try to have a group setting with at least 3 or 4 women to talk about their journeys. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you guys. Just come on down. And again, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marquita.
Thank
just
you.
thank you. I just feel like I'm missing something or
Thanks,
missing
Marquita.
someone. Thank you. And all right, viewers, it was great talking to you and meeting you, and we'll see you again. I feel like I'm missing something, but I sure hope I'm not. I think I have everything. I think I covered everything. But
I'm
anyway,
just like,
get that book. It's a fabulous book. Look at these women. You heard some of them, co-authors. You hear their stories. They're freaking amazing. They're inspirational, motivational, all the things. And check us out. Maria, you had something to say?
yes, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the ladies that were chiming in and adding comments and asking questions. We love you. Thank you. And tell a friend and bring them the next time.
That's
when
right.
we all get together.
That's right. Love. Thank you so much for your support and love, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. She enjoyed the show. Yay! We're gonna put it up on the YouTube channel after. So. All right, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Stay on the upload.
That's right. Stay on for a few minutes. We're gonna end the live stream.
Always stay on.
Bye.
Ah.